Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today we have here the 8 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 7 of Pentacles in its reversal. So, I'm telling you guys right now, okay? I wish I could say in some kind of way, shape, or form that this energy that you're experiencing right now is going to tick back. It's not. There's a bit of this amplification that we are experiencing right now. And I need to tell you right now, the thing about this energy is it is the type of energy that is like literally it's like the perfect ability to let something feel like it is like it's the ability to almost like let something be blown out of proportion, right? That's what we need to like navigate against, okay? Because I'm going to walk you guys through this. And I was just describing this before we started the podcast, okay? If you're feeling a lot of that pressure right now, if you're feeling a lot of that intensity, if you're feeling like you're coming down really hard on the self right now, I'm going to just re-articulate this. Like, I want you to think about like if I could describe this energy that we're feeling right now in a way that could be heard. It's like I want you to think about the fact that we've got that Venus in retrograde, okay? So like imagine you got a piano and like someone's just banging on those low notes of the piano. And what are the low notes of the piano saying over and over and over again? They're saying everything is ugly. Everything is ugly. Everything is ugly. Everything is ugly. Now I want you to think about the fact that the Virgo energy, right? So there's that Venus energy with his hands in the dirt, like slamming down on the ground, right? And now we've got that Virgo energy, which is very high. It's like high-pitched energy. It's like it's very much about fine-tuning, right? That's what Virgo energy does. It's a lot of that fine-tuning energy, right? And so we got a lot of that work in terms of, again, the Virgo full moons are beautiful as it relates to building and setting intentions, as it relates to new routines and new practices, right? New rules for the self, right? But with the amplification of the eclipse energy, it's like it can almost feel like it's like getting really loud. And what is that energy saying? Everything must be perfect. Everything must be perfect. Everything must be perfect. So we've got these two chords happening, right? We've got that heavy energy of Venus going, everything is ugly, everything is ugly, everything is ugly, and then everything must be perfect, everything must be perfect, and so they're going back and forth, and then we've got the eclipse energy that's just making everything get louder and louder and louder and louder. So if you're feeling this, right now, you're not the only one, okay? And it's not you. It's not you. And it's not them, right? Because it's a type of energy that's like it's either that energy, it's like, and again, if you're handling it well right now, you're probably in a space of going, what the heck has gotten into everybody, right? Because it's very triggering. It feels like there's a lot of pressure and intensity combined with a lot of feelings of pressure to perform, right? So, I want you to bring it into a space. And this is why I keep on saying, the way I want you to think about this is I don't want you to think about it, right, from the place of feeling energetic pressure. I want you to think about it like incubation, right? I want you to think about it a lot like, and that's the thing about it. The energy that we're experiencing with all of that Aries energy, it's dry, right? It's a dry energy, and it is hot. And that ability of being able to kind of work in the space of recognizing and identifying, and that's why I said, as it relates to setting intentions right now, like building those plans and path work, right? Aligning and recognizing what one wants to change. Absolutely beautiful energy, right? I see a lot of things that are starting right now. But And that's why I say it's really important not to allow oneself to, like, not allowing oneself to feel that like there's a lot of that idea or that space of feeling that anxiety of crumbling under pressure. I want you to think, like, I want you to think diamonds, not eggs. I want you to think about, and this is how, and this is the other thing we have to be conscientious of right now. Okay. It's not that you can't do something during eclipse cycles, but the thing with eclipse cycles is you have to be really conscientious about harebrained ideas, right? There's a lot of that ability of coming into a space of building into, like something that one can innovate upon, one like something that one wants to change. But at the same time, often the eclipse cycles help us regulate and understand what feels like, I keep on saying, good eggs versus bad eggs, good ideas versus bad ideas, right? And how do we figure out the difference between a good idea, right? Like, it was at that moment I landed upon it versus someone that says it felt like a good idea at the time. We give it a moment, right? If it's a good idea, it doesn't need to be acted upon in the moment that one experiences it, right? That's how we kind of regulate through something. It's a moment that we understand and fortify, like what feels like it's based upon our intention versus something that we feel just because of the amplification of energy. So I want you to think of all of this. I want you to think about and again, I want you to focus right now on what anchors you, right? Don't allow some of this funhouse mirror energy to get to you, right? Because when we understand ourselves, when we see ourselves clearly and we feel like we start experiencing those proportions where we feel like we're looking at something out of proportion or we feel like another is doing so, we can bring that gift of clarity to one another, right? And this is having a big impact depending on where you find yourselves on the frequency cycles right now. Now, for masculine and feminine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, a lot of this work that we're recognizing and identifying, I keep on seeing it's helping figure out directions. That's what the energy in separation is doing right now. Figuring out coordinates, figuring out directions. Why is the energy figuring out directions right now? Because we saw, right? And we keep on seeing this, and this is what's happening with all of this energy, all this Piscean energy that's moving up into Aries, right? And the thing about it, and this is why, I got to tell you right now, Aries and Virgo share the same quality and characteristic in saying to each other, feelings have nothing to do with it, right? Why do Aries and Virgo say feelings have nothing to do with it? Because Aries and Virgo both feel intuitively, right, that feelings are useful only in that they are helpful. This is often why you notice, have you ever met an Aries or Virgo? They're not big sharers as it relates to what's going on. Like, it drives those around them crazy, right? Because Aries and Virgos feel deeply in their heart that ability to expound upon an emotion, they're not going to do so unless they feel like it's for a reason, right? That's why it's so hard to get Virgo or Aries energy to open up about something. Because if Aries and Virgo energies feel that something that they feel is not helpful, they will repress it. They will try to repress it. They will be like, no, it doesn't matter how I feel, right? But that's why, and that's why I keep on seeing that a lot of this energy right now, that movement of like a lot of the work that we're seeing between the Pisces moving into Aries, it feels like chariot energy, right? Because understanding that when we feel the alignment of ourselves, and we modulate and regulate that with the ability of understanding, when we feel emotions, but we can act with intention through those emotions, they become it's powerhouse energy. It allows for that space of being able to feel like something is progressing. And so that's why I keep on seeing that there's a lot of energy right now that's either progressing forward or cutting things short. Right? There's like coming into that space of feeling that ease and relief of how easy something can be. Or if there's a situation, and that's why I see even now, if someone's coming back to a situation without progress, right? It could feel like a lot of that, that moment of like the amplification of what feels like it's productive versus what feels like it is still, right? And here's the thing about it, and I keep hearing like there's some kind of, and I keep on hearing like that's why I see even in separation there are several different modalities that are happening, right? This is why if like someone's coming towards someone right now and saying like I still have feelings for you, another, I can see a lot of conversations of another saying I'm really happy that you recognize that, but feelings were never the problem. Right? Like it's not about the lack of feelings that was causing a problem. It's the fact that when we're not healed, how when we feel something, right? Like the how another experiences those feelings is the difference between what feels like it's progressive versus what feels like it's stagnant. And we're also seeing here that there's something very heavy that's coming through in the recognition that a true apology is a plan, right? The gift that we give one another when we're truly in a space of wanting to transform something isn't just saying sorry about the circumstance or situation that something is in, but talking about what one hopes to see within it. Right? So I keep on seeing everything I keep on hearing for the energy and separation. I see a lot of different modalities that are potentially happening, but the overarching word, and this is why I keep on calling it chariot energy right now, is the word that I hear everyone in separation saying is directions, directions, directions. Like, what are the directions? I've got feelings for you. That's great. What are the directions? I miss you. That's great. What are the directions? Like it's a lot of that space. And again, this is why a lot of the partnerships right now that I'm telling you that are forming in this energy are powerhouse energy, because this is the energy that says as long as we have directions, there's nothing well, as long as we share our directions with one another, there's nothing that we cannot fix, right? Like that's the energy that says as long as we share the directions, there's nothing that we cannot fix. I love that. While for masculine and feminine, coming into divine union, this is why some of that energy is potentially discovering the difficulty of a spiritual journey, which is sometimes when you're on a spiritual journey, you find wounds that you didn't know existed, right? Because I see some energy that's working in the space of navigating circumstances of saying, I would like to give an apology or receive one, but I don't want to confuse directions, right? This is the energy that understands the force and the weight of understanding. This is why it feels like I keep on getting its sacred heart energy associated to Virgo, because it's that moment that understands that when we're in true healing, we don't try to parade that healing to others, right? We don't sit down and say, oh, I just wanted to meet you to tell you how far I've come, right? Like we don't do that. We come into that space when we're truly built with the intention of healing, and we want to fortify or build a bridge back with another. We're often very conscientious about whether that bridge is something that another would willingly recede, or whether it would open a wound in the process, right? So I keep on seeing that a lot of that energy is recognizing the weight of discernment, not the weight. I need to point this out, right? The weight, WEIGHT, the weight of discernment, right? The energy in separation is done waiting, right? WAIT. The energy coming into divine union is recognizing the weight of discernment, how the heft of it, how difficult it is. Because it's not just, I keep on hearing the energy go, it's not that simple, right? The energy being like, why don't you apologize to someone? Someone saying it's not that simple. Because that's the energy that says, if I come towards someone and I want to apologize or ask for an apology because it feels good, again, it's not just about feels good, it's feels good is good. Right? It's not just when we're in a good space, like when we're truly trying to build in a spiritual path work, it's not just what feels good. It's feels good is good, right? It's working through the discernment of identifying what would feel good, but also recognizing whether it would be received in the same way, right? It's difficult. And that's why I keep on seeing it's requiring a lot of precision. While for masculine and that's why I would not be surprised right now if there's a lot of karmic dreams that are happening, because often when I see situations like this is where things start entering into the karmic dream space. While for masculine and feminine energy, right, deep within divine union, I just keep on seeing that this is energy that is deep within Saturn right now. I'm still trying to understand why. I still need to get to the bottom as to why there's so much of this energy of Saturn right now. I know this is going to sound wild, but I think it's because all of the, how do I explain this? Is because all the planets are in Aries. So when there's a lot of Aries energy, it gets very Saturnine, right? It's that space of, again, Aries recognize that time is precious, right? So it's a lot of that work in trying to identify and recognize how to utilize time in the most effective way possible, right? Center card for today's spread. Aries is having a party and it's Saturn. Yeah. Okay. One card to clarify. Yeah. Especially with this Four of Cups and its reversal. Like there's a lot of work that we're seeing here. And I keep on seeing like, and the thing about it is I almost identify that for, a lot of the energy, like I told you, like there's a lot of this work. And that's the thing about it. I see a lot of the energy deep within divine union trying to compress things, right? Why is the energy trying to compress things? Because with a lot of that work with the Saturn energy, it's trying to figure out how to do something with less time, right? Looking for efficiencies, looking for harmonics, right? This is often what we do when we consider our time valuable. So that's why I see a lot of that energy is like in a state of a lot of deep concentration right now as they work on focusing in terms of how to do things with minimal effort, like with a, like if not minimal, like I need to stress this, not minimal effort, but they're saying the most reward, but in the way that feels like it's most effective. Now, for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, right? And it feels a lot like diamond forging. Like that's why I mean, like it's like it's like pressure. It's like hold on, I'm concentrating kind of thing. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, this is the energy. I keep on hearing the energy go, I'm healing, and suddenly nothing is simple. This is the energy that is recognizing, and this is the energy I can hear the energy saying to one another. I thought that going on a spiritual journey, I thought that healing, everything would become more simple. No, everything becomes way more complicated, right? Everything becomes way more complicated because they're utilizing discernment. They're building empathy for others, right? It's not just about what feels good for the self. It's putting a lot of that concentration and care as to not just what serves the needs of the self or even the partnership itself, but trying to build into the extension of like feeling that weight, feeling that heaviness of what they carry. And that's why I keep on getting it's Virgo lessons, because Virgos often, I keep on getting it's processional energy, which is like, what do you feel when you have processional energy? You recognize the gravitas of what you are carrying, the weight of it, right? So there's a lot of energy right now that is feeling the energetic weight of carrying something that has a lot of gravitas or value within the self. While for masculine and feminine in separation right now, again, and this is why I can see some energy right now, like either new doors opening or doors that are closing. Because this is, I keep on hearing directions. Like someone trying to have a conversation about emotions, directions. Someone trying to ask, like articulate that they miss someone, directions. Where is this going, right? More Saturn lessons. I don't have like recognizing if it feels like, again, if there's something that is changing, progress, or if it feels very much similar, right? So there's like, I keep on seeing, and this is as it relates to the fact that Jupiter's in Gemini and Aries, all this energy of Aries in like all these planets in Aries house. It's that space. And like, this is where Gemini and Aries like high five, which is that space of saying to a certain extent, it's not the fact that they fail at anything. It's recognizing how much work something takes, right? Gemini and Aries do not believe failure exists. They literally don't. Go ask a Gemini and Aries or Aries if they've ever failed at something. I guarantee you they'll look at you and they'll say it's not a real thing. It's like they're like they've never failed at anything. They've just decided something isn't worth the effort that it takes to get it to achieve it. Fourth and fifth card, but at the same time, that's why I see like right now these partnerships coming together right now. Just get out of the way. They're gonna be like, it's like they are on a mission. Fourth and fifth card in our 5-card spread. Yeah, there you go. I got to tell you the bright side about this energy right now. I know it feels really dry, but I'm going to tell you right now, these energies, these partnerships that are coming together right now, they are Virgo partnerships, which means they understand the assignment. They understand the assignment, right? They're Virgo partnerships, Virgo partnerships forming during this period this is why, because this is the energy that they're meeting each other and they're giving each other the gift of clear directions. This is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I'm looking for, right? This is the energy that says to one another, the gift that we give, the way we the way we express our love is by giving clarity on where that love is going, right? So there you go. It's like, that's why I said, like, just get out of their way, man. Just get out of their way. They are fast walkers. They do not have time for it. They are fast walkers. It's like, it's a lot of this, like, I don't, like, it's a lot of this, like, nobody has time for that kind of thing. Continuing. And that's the thing, because that's a vibe right now. And that's happening across all the frequencies. Continuing to get clarification between our 8 of Cups in its reversal and our 7 of Pentacles. You notice the 8 to the 7. Oh, look at this. Yeah, because we've got 8 to 7, 8 to 7 to 4 to 3. So this is all about the retrograde, because do you see how all of these cards right now are linear going down the numbers? So clarification between 8 of Cups in its reversal and 7 of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, Page of Pentacles. Ain't nobody got time for it. I told you, it's a lot of this, like, and here's the thing about it, like, I gotta tell you, like, all of this Aries energy, right? It's very, I mean, I want to hesitate. I want to hesitate in using this word, because I know that sometimes it's characterized as it relates to, like, it feels like very manic. But I don't mean that in the space of speaking towards mental health. I'm going to stress that here. I'm not in any way, shape, or form articulating that in relationality to connection to anything in that way. I mean, it feels very much like not enough time, trying to rush through things, like trying to, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like the rabbit in Alice in Wonderland. Like, it's a lot of that I'm late kind of energy, right? So, like, and that's why I keep on seeing that's why these partnerships right now, there's like a lot of excitement there, right? There's a lot of activation. There's a lot of activity, because the energy itself, I can almost see they're in that space of like I keep on seeing, they're the type of partnerships that are very ambitious. They're very driven, but they're very ambitious because they're bringing to each other the excitement of sharing goals, right? Like it's like the energy that feels the excitement of saying, together we can do something in half the time, right? It's a lot of that type of energy, and that's why I see that for a lot of those partnerships that are forming right now, I keep on hearing, it's about time. Like, that's why they're saying it's about time, because they're either experiencing a breakthrough where it feels like someone's on the same page as them, or they're saying it's about time because the energy, the new connections that are forming are focusing a lot about the gift of building in partnership, is not feeling like you're in partnership with, like, it's building in a partnership with someone that values that time is a gift that we give one another, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of this energy that is coming into divine union right now, focusing and recognizing, like, and this is why I keep on hearing, this is like, it feels like this is actually, I got to tell you right now, it feels like the pressure right now is coming through for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, right? Because I keep on, and I know I need to stress this. I can see there's like almost a level of energetic somberness that's entering some of these partnerships. But I need to stress, do you understand? This is not the sobriety. This is not the sobriety of regretting being in union. That's not what's happening here, right? The somberness is sacred because they're recognizing the gravitas of being able to see something that one couldn't see before, right? Like, this is the energy that's like, I can see this. This is like energy going deep into contemplation of the self. It's like the thinking man, because this is the energy that's suddenly seeing something that they could not recognize. And now it's like, it's creating that sense of trying to understand what one does with it, right? How one carries it. So there's a lot of that. Like, I want to say that for the energy right now coming into divine union, this may be feeling like a lot of that pressure, right? Now, for masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now, this is, I want to say, like, this is giving me very much similar to the energy that we see as it relates to, like, I keep on hearing it's very much the same thing. It's not about, it's not about excitement. It's about concentration, right? Like, I keep on hearing, like, the energy in separation is in a space of excitement. The energy coming into divine union right now is in a space of contemplation. And the energy deep within divine union right now is in a state of compression, right? So, and that's all of, like, that's the Aries that's like having a different impact depending on where you find yourself. Continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Pentacles in combination with our Four of Cups in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with Ace of Wands, right? Like, I gotta say, like, like, you know, I keep on stressing. There's something very, there's something profoundly, it's very interesting because it's giving me a lot of connection. This energy right now feels like it bears a lot of connection to, I think I've been speaking about this, like the myth of Athena, right? So what is the myth of Athena? The myth of Athena is that the Athena burst from Zeus's head, right? Like, Zeus was having a terrible headache, right? And he got so annoyed at it that he asked someone to, like, open his head up, right? And when he did, boop, out came Athena. And the thing about that, the reason that myth comes through is because, remember how we're talking about that space, about the fact that this energy is great for creating ideas, right? Because often, and we talk about, like, that myth is an allegory for the idea, like how we sometimes feel at our wit's end before we have a new idea, right? It's those moments that we're like, ugh, like we're about to, like, we feel like we're like about to, like, it's like you want to, like, you know, you want to flip the board, right? You want to, like, and then suddenly, you know, like at that moment, you're like, wait, right? Like, it's like bing, it's like the light bulb, right? It's like that space of something that comes to you in that moment. And it's a lesson about not allowing ourselves to just be reactive about what we feel. It's about understanding and trying to find easement, right? Because you got to think about this. You know, like, Zeus was the god of thunder. If Zeus was just going around in a bad mood and had all that head pressure, it would have it would have been sheer chaos. But instead, he tried to find a way to release that pressure, right? So when we focus on being solutions oriented instead of problem driven, right? Like, if we focus, if like Zeus was in that space where all he did was complain about his headache, we would not have Athena. But again, it's because Zeus was feeling something and he asked someone to do something, right? Something that he knew he could not do, right? He asked someone, he was like, he had an idea to help alleviate something that was bothering him, and boom, right? Something new appears in the wake of it. So it's a lot of that space of understanding what the gift is if we don't allow ourselves to crumble under the weight of our own frustration, right? It's a lot of that type of work right now. And I know it's hard. That's why I said, even now, if you're having ideas right now, it's not just about, like, doing something too quickly, right? It's understanding and giving yourself the understanding as to the reasons why, right? Because I'll tell you right now, the thing with these eclipse energies is it's great for building into the process of something new. But at the same time, we have to regulate between, and this is what's difficult with eclipse cycles, something what we want to do that isn't actually helpful, but that would just alleviate pressure, right? Versus something that we feel would actually be helpful and beneficial and create something, like, incredible in the process, right? And so that's, like, a lot of that space of understanding and recognizing that we're able to ascertain the difference between bad ideas and good ideas as it relates to understanding why, right? It's a lot of that type of work. Continuing to get clarification between our like Four of Cups in its reversal and our Three of Wands in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify? I already know where this is going. Yeah, right? I got to tell you right now, there's a lot of conversation here that we're seeing that happens about the fact that when we project outwards or we overly internalize, when we're feeling frustration, we block our own blessings, right? That when we come into the space of wallowing or blaming, it doesn't create a place for us to think about a solution to something, right? Like we talked a lot about this. It's like that space that, how do I explain this best? The same. We've talked a lot about the fact that the same force that wants to blame others, right? Like, is the same exact energy that wants to overblame the self. Because what happens in those moments that we say, that we get into the space, blame does not fix anything, right? Blame gives a reason why something is the way that it is. So when we start blaming, we are problem oriented, right? When I say, oh, well, it's their fault that something's like that, what I'm really saying is it's not my fault, right? When I say, oh, it's like I'm the worst, well, then I'm saying, yeah, I'm the worst. I'm sorry. Nothing can be changed, right? They're false. It's a false perception because it really says there's nothing that can be done, right? And when we're working towards manifestation goals, remembering that the difference between a manifestation goal is a wish. The difference between a manifestation is a wish and a wish is a manifestation. You got your hands in it. You're doing something. You're moving towards it. You're not waiting on it. You're not like looking at it being like, like a wish is like a longing. A manifestation is creating, right? So I keep on seeing that there's a lot of this work. And that's why I keep on seeing that this could be leading to a lot of finalitude in some kind of in relationships. Because if someone's coming towards someone in manifestation and they're saying, I wish, like I can see a lot of the energy in separation saying wishing is for stars. Like manifestation is what we do here and now, right? We don't wish for anything. We move in accordance to what it is that we desire, right? It's not about wishing, it's about doing, right? I can see this energy like in that space, right? And that's why I keep on hearing like a lot of this work, and that's why I keep on hearing too, like it almost feels to me that, and that's the thing, like a lot of that force that we talked about in relationality to understanding directions has to do with the fact that there's so many of these planets right now without that clarity. It's like the work of kind of building upon or recognizing what that looks like, like working in that space. It's not easy, right? It's frustrating. But again, the force that is able to articulate and build upon in that way, like I see that at the same time, there's a lot of productivity that's occurring as it relates to recognizing and identifying the directions that one is moving forward with. Continuing to get clarification between our Three of Wands in combination with our Nine of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Seven of Cups in its upright. Now, on top of all of this right now, and I'm just gonna stress this again. So, I keep on seeing that one of the big challenges across all of the frequencies right now is navigating that feeling of overwhelm, right? Never having enough time, never feeling like one can get enough done, never feeling like one is the best that one can be. And I need to stress to you, the reason that you're feeling this right now is because there's a lot of work right now that we're navigating as it relates to a lot of the lessons that Virgo come here to learn. And one of the things I need to stress about a lot of the work in the Virgo lesson is understanding, and I'll just keep on saying this, perfection cannot be found on a map. There is no perfect place. You cannot find perfect. Perfect is a cardinal direction. It is something that we move towards. It is something that we strive towards. It always feels like it escapes us because there's always a space that something can become more perfect. That's why perfect is often, like when we create something, it, like we talk a lot about the fact, and I did not coin this term, an artist never finishes their work. They merely abandon it. You ever seen someone create something? You're like, you've seen them. They go, everyone's giving them credit. They're going, right? Because it's always, it's like that sense or that space of seeing, like when you have that ideal in your head, it feels like you can always find a way to refine it. Working through that right now, I'm telling you right now, perfect is the blockage. Don't let perfect stand in the way of done, right? Like, you are not a mess. You are a work in progress. Our job is not to be free of flaws. Remember, why do you like, when you have a precious gem, do you like it because it's flawless? No, often those flaws, when we shine them into facets, become the beautiful irregularities that make something precious, right? Like that modality of seeing something that is energetically unique is not one that requires us to try to move into or conform to something outside the self, but building into that context of deeply appreciating and loving ourselves and those around us for the uniqueness that we bring to circumstances and situations, right? But it's hard right now because I'm telling you, a lot of this, like a lot of this energy right now between like the Venus retrograde and the Virgo full moon, the Venus retrograde that says everything is hideous, right? Including myself, and the energy of the Virgo full moon that says everything must be perfect. How do we navigate through that house of mirrors? We know what we look like, right? We let that anchor us. Continuing to get clarification between a Page of Pentacles in its reversal and Ace of Wands in its upright. There it is. Right? Yep, Magician. This is the type, I can tell you right now, this type of energy is resolution energy, right? Because what do we have? I just want to give you the example, like, and I keep joking about this because it's like we had the new moon. We had the new moon in Pisces, right? New moon in Pisces, all the planets in Pisces. This is a mess. Not to say, listen, I'm not to say that Piscean energy is a mess, but I keep on seeing it's the fact that there were a lot of fish, right? And there was a lot of fish that because there was so much of that abundance of fish, it feels like that sense that you want to throw your hands up. Like, what do you, like, remember, every time we had all the planets in Pisces, I kept on hearing the message, what are we going to do with all this fish? Like, it's a lot. It's not, there's too many feelings, too many emotions on something. It can feel confusing, right? And that's why I keep on saying, like, the combination force between the Pisces new moon into the Virgo energy is like, what are we going to do with all this fish? I'm going to join a convent, right? It's like that moment of like setting the new intention, right? It's like coming into the plan of like, what do you do with all the fish, right? This is what we do often at the beginning of the year. We're used to this energy in December. It's resolution energy. It's resolution energy. It's setting intention, right? It's building. It's like when we feel that point and we see that we're flawed, what do? We set our intentions on how to turn those flaws into facets, right? So I want you to focus on that right now. Continuing to get clarification between our Ace of Wands in its upright and our Two of Wands in its upright. A lot of wands today. A lot of wands. We've got, I was about to, I am laughing at myself because I was literally, I stopped myself from saying it. I was like, we've been getting a lot of swords. I haven't seen, and I was literally about to, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to say it because I don't want to jinx it. And then as I did, we pulled the King of Swords in its upright. So there's a lot, like, here's the thing. It's setting of intention. It's the energy that sets the intention, right? And so I just keep on seeing, like, let this, don't let this energy create that space of getting too hard on yourself, right? When we feel like when, and I want you to really think about that. I want you to think about, don't think about cracking under pressure. Think about becoming a diamond, right? Don't think about the frustration of what is wrong. Understand and recognize what it is that you can do to make something feel right, right? Because I'm telling you right now, that same force that wants to like push something away and say, I'm sick of this. Like, like, I just don't like, it's like, when we build into that context, right? It allows us, like like, like I keep on hearing, like, focus and the path becomes clear, right? It's like those moments that we give ourselves, that we start to like understand what feels right for us. And that's why I keep on hearing that for a lot of the energy right now in separation, look at these connections that are forming. Do you see these? I told you, it's like powerhouse energy. Look at these partnerships, right? Like, look, like, do you see the fact that they're both sharing the same position about, like, what are they both doing? They're both pointing. Like, the both of these energies, they're both pointing. So that's what I meant with about some of these partnerships that are coming together right now. Look at this. I just want to show you. We've got the magician, right? We've got the King of Swords, and we've got the Ace of Wands, right? So they're pointing and they're giving each other the gift of directions, right? So that's a lot of that. I told you, those are the new counterparts that are coming together right now. And I keep on hearing the energy that says it's about time, right? And the thing about it, and that's why I keep on hearing it's about time for the energy and separation. It's either the breakthrough of someone coming towards them with a plan, like with a plan, or these are new energetic connections that are coming together with like feeling the sigh of relief of energy that it feels like it's already in alignment to you, already has that plan, the sharing of plans. Simultaneously, I do see some energetic connections that are potentially connecting, like like moving into separation, but it feels like a conclusion point, the end of like a closing out of a cycle, with the energy that looks at someone and says, I think we want very different things, right? Because when someone comes towards us and they know the direction we want to go, but instead they're providing us anything but, it's often those moments that we have to read between the lines and say, I've recognized that we actually want different things. Continuing to get clarification between our Two of Wands in combination with our Seven of Cups in its upright. One card to clarify, please. There it is. We've got the Chariot energy. I told you it's Chariot energy. I was waiting for that card to come up, but I need to point out, I need to stress this. The reason the Chariot is in its reversal is because I keep on seeing that I keep on hearing that there's a lot of breakthroughs that are happening right now for energy across the frequencies as it relates to the difference between the emotions that feel like they provide clarity versus the emotions that feel like they just drag us down. And it has a lot to do with one of the messages that's been coming through in relationality to like universal lessons, which is, again, the recognition point that we've spoken about the fact that our emotions, ultimately, at the end of the day, our emotions are not each other's responsibility. Why? Because I have no control of how you feel about me, right? I might trigger something in you. You could just look at me, you might look at me and just can't stand me. That's okay. It's not my responsibility. I mean, if there's something I'm doing that I could potentially be corrective for, right? If you bring that towards me, we can certainly talk about it. But ultimately, the reason we say that our emotions are not each other's responsibilities is because when we're in a state of love, they are gifts that we give each other, right? And that ability of doing so, there's only one emotion, right? Because every time we recognize that there's a universal lesson, there's a curvature to the lesson. There's always a quality or characteristic of exceptionalism that builds upon the next lesson. So the curvature upon that lesson is unless it is confusion. Unless it is confusion. The only emotion that we can generate within one another that is our responsibility is confusion. Because if you approach me with confusion, what you're really saying is something that you're giving me is unclear. I require clarity. That is something that we're always available to provide another, or to try to. This is why we do the work of understanding the self. So that way, in those moments that someone says to us, something you're doing is confusing me, we can have the gift of clarity of the self to communicate what it is that we mean, right? Let to allow that space. But, in those moments that someone comes towards us with the emotions that don't necessarily have a direction, right? That emotion that one hasn't navigated, right? When we say to each other, I've got a lot of feelings for you, and we just articulated that emotions are not one another's responsibility, right? It's a moment that we can share that, but the emotions that have plans are the emotions that have wings. It's a Chariot energy, right? The gift that we give each other isn't just the expounding upon how much we feel for one another. It is being able to articulate about where we want to move those feelings into manifestation goals. So I keep on seeing that there's a lot of work that's happening right now between the difference between, I keep on seeing, and this is all that work between Pisces to Aries, someone having a surplus of something, right? Versus someone having directions, having that plan, right? The quantity versus the directions. And I keep on seeing the guides, like basically the message coming through is, don't confuse a surplus of something for directions. A lot of something isn't direction. Direction is direction, right? And like there's a lot of that space that I just keep on seeing is allowing for that sense of understanding what feels like it is progressing forward versus what feels like it is a repetitive cycle, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Magician card in its upright in combination with our King of Swords in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. Boom. It's not easy to see clearly. Stinks, right? And I feel like, and here's the thing, I got to tell you, like the energy, I feel like the thing is all that energy in Pisces that we were experiencing, I see a lot of energy, and we were talking a lot about this. When we feel a lot of emotions, and this is why it's really important to always ask ourselves the difference between what the emotions want to see versus what we actually see, right? Because the emotions want to, I keep on hearing, the emotions can romanticize anything, right? The emotions have this incredible gift of being able to romanticize anything. Pisces, like a lot of Pisces energy, like that's, Pisces have that quality of being able to romanticize anything. But, and again, I feel like this is how Aries is helping situations right now. Because Aries is like stepping in like a big brother to all of that Pisces energy and saying, it's not about your ability to romanticize something. Was it intended to be romantic? You know what I mean? Like that's the energy. Like Aries is like everybody's big brother that wants to step in and be like, I know you can romanticize everything. The question isn't whether you can romanticize it. The question is, is someone doing something because they think it's romantic or not? Right? It's like recognizing the intent. Like, it's like, that's the thing with Aries. Like Aries is a lot of this, like Aries is like bodyguard energy. Aries is like, state your intention, state your business. You know what I mean? Like Aries is like, it's like, it's a lot of that, like, and here's the thing about it. Like, it does feel a lot like, and I do feel like that. Like there's something really beautiful in the space of, I feel like there is something with all of that, the planets rallying in Aries that feels very protective, right? It feels very, and that's why I'm going to tell you right now, one of the things I'm recognizing is there's a lot of work that's happening right now in healing the heart space. But it's like healing the heart space under difficult circumstances. It's like the pressure that almost allows for the heart space to open, right? It's not easy. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of energy right now. This is why I'm recognizing that it's having a different quality and characteristic on masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. For masculine, what are we seeing that's been happening in a big way? There's a lot of masculine energy that is healing through the space of identifying and recognizing that emotions are not separate from the experience of being a masculine. That masculine energy does not mean that one needs to become numb. In what context has ever been? Stoicism is not about becoming numb. Stoicism is go read any Greek tragedy. Tell me if those characters are numb. They're not. It's about feeling everything. It's finding, it's chariot energy. Stoicism is chariot energy. It's feeling everything and then finding the strength of purpose, having the intention of knowing and seeing oneself clearly, to move in accordance to it. Not because you've trained yourself not to feel, but because you've become strong enough to move the horses of the emotions in the direction that you desire them to move, right? Like it's not about disassociating, it's about integrating. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy working in that space, like a lot of that heart expansion, this is a masculine that's like feeling very, I told you, feeling very gregarious right now, wanting to share, potentially reaching out to others, right? Building into that context. So I see that there's a lot of that energy. I keep on getting, it's like, it feels like a lot of camaraderie, right? Because like it's a bunch of planets in Aries. So it feels like there's that like, it's like that group, it's like that desire to kind of be in that space and share that energetic journey. For feminine, how is the feminine healing the heart space? Exact opposite. Exact opposite. If this is the feminine that's healing from those contexts that made the feminine feel that in order to embody their feminine, they had to be everything to everyone, right? Give a piece of yourself here, give a piece of yourself there. What are you doing? Why aren't you giving enough of yourself, right? Boo on you. This is the energy of the feminine that works in the context of saying, the feminine says, I am not cake, right? The feminine here heals the heart space by saying, I am not cake. I don't need to give everyone a slice. That ability of doing so, this is a feminine that works in the pathwork of discernment and learning and healing by saying to themselves, it's okay to save some for me, right? It's okay to be in that space of being able to inhabit and find that comfortability. And this is the feminine that says towards those around them, never do I feel more loved than my no is honored. Right? Because that is the feminine that feels the space of identifying and saying that when another honors their no, that is the feminine that feels held, because that is the feminine that says that the ability of someone coming towards them is articulating and amplifying the space that they're not just coming towards the feminine to serve an energetic need, right? It's like that. It's like facilitating upon that work that feels like it creates that space of abundance wherein the feminine can come into their authenticity. And that's happening across all of the frequencies, continuing to get clarification between our King of Swords in its upright in combination with our Chariot in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our 10 of Wands in its upright. So, like, this is the thing. It's pressure. Okay, I'm going to tell you, if you're feeling pressure, it's because the energy is pressure. Okay? And I got to say, and I mean, we love Aries energy here. Like like there's no flack to any of the signs. But the thing about Aries energy is, I keep on seeing, like, it's very important. Like, it's giving me like, the thing about it is it's giving me like pizza party energy. Like the way I need to describe this is like when we start to feel a lot of this like amplification, you know, when someone gets so excited that it's like like the excitement itself can sometimes take something over like into a space that no longer feels great. So it's like, you know, it's working in that context of having the strength of the self to navigate in a way. I keep on seeing, if you're someone, so I'm going to work through this right now. So anxiety and excitement are the same force, but it's about how we carry it, right? And the thing is, when we, and we were talking a lot about this yesterday, right? And regret, you know, like guilt, and we need to talk about this. Okay, so hold on. Because that's where the 3 of Swords and the 10 of like the 10 of Wands comes through. All right. When we carry, like, sometimes when we look back on the past, it hurts. But that's good, right? It's called wisdom because we wince when we look at it. Something that we see that we wish we could change. That's where the wisdom gets in, right? When we hold too much regret, we stop being able to do anything, right? We get lost in the past. We feel like everything is over and everything slips through our fingers, right? When we over concentrate on the future, when we're so worried about what's going to happen, right? We become overly anxious, right? We build into that context. We're worrying about the future so much. Again, our anxiety stops us from being able to do anything. So a lot of this work that we're having right now is finding, I keep on getting, it's a lot of work in Libra. It's actually finding that balance point, right? And again, the word of the day right now is proportion, right? Everything is good in proportion. So being able to find that modality of proportion, how one carries it, right? How one changes. And again, sometimes when we feel like we're feeling something that is out of proportion, we don't give up on things. We recognize what we have to do to adjust that. So I keep on seeing there's a lot of the healthy energy right now is not blaming others. They're not blaming themselves, right? Doing that work, right? And even again, and I don't want to listen, I don't want to say that if you're not doing this work effectively, you're not healthy, but like the work that we do in not over carrying that is the gift that we bring to the present, right? Because the gift that we bring to the present is our presence, right? When we're sitting there grieving a past, we're not honoring the present, right? Like when we look back and say everything's over, the present is like, how dare you? You know what I mean? Like the present is like, I'm standing right in front of you. like the audacity, and when we get too worried about the future, when we're looking at the future and we're just over fixated on the future that we can't do anything, again, the present just looks at us and goes, okay, I guess you're too busy. I'll be on my way, right? It's like the gift we give ourselves is finding the ability of being present in the moment, because the present in the moment is all we have. We don't know. We can't change the past. We don't know how much time we got, right? Everything that matters is this moment. So I see that, again, if you're having a hard time navigating through this energy right now, I want you to, I keep on hearing like I didn't make this up. Like, find a way to get present in the moment. Look at 5 things you can see. Like, I don't know what the thing is. Like, look around, ground yourself. Look at yourself and say, what can I do right now that will make me feel better, right? Like, that is also a meditative practice, right? Because again, I keep on saying, if you're the type of person that like gets in a meditative space and all you do is overthink, like, you know what I mean? Like, that might not be helpful right now if it doesn't feel like it's grounding you. Whatever grounds you in the present, whatever brings you back to yourself is energetic meditation, right? Whatever that is, whatever you want it to be. Like the guides are not picky. It's like whatever that is, that's what we mean by following your bliss. Find that, not do what feels good. What feels good is good. Find the thing that grounds you. Find the thing that helps you remember who you are, right? Final card for today's spread. Between our 3 of Swords and it's upright and our 10 of Wands and it's upright. One card to clarify, please. Yep, Page of Wands in its reversal. So it's, I gotta tell you right now, how do I put this best? And I'm just gonna say this, like, this is my plea. This is my plea. This is my plea to all of you, because listen, I'm trying to save you a reading. Okay. I'm trying to save you a reading. Okay. Because, this is no time for hurt feelings. This is absolutely, listen to me, please write this down somewhere. Promise me this at least for the month of March, at least until we get out of this energetic cluster that we find ourselves in right now. Now is not the time to get all up in your feels, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, it's the difference, and the reason I'm saying this is I want you to have those moments coming out of this eclipse cycle and saying, it was at that moment that I had a breakthrough, right? Versus, oh no, what have I done? Okay? It was at that moment I had a breakthrough versus, oh no, what have I done? Right? What is the difference between it was at that moment that the solution came to me, right? Bonk. Like, it's just right in your hand. Oh, boop, there it is. Okay. Right, when we're feeling the pressure and then suddenly we have those moments of clarity, right? Like the ability to incubate, the ability to find a plan, the ability to set the resolution, okay? Versus feeling that pressure, being like, I know what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? And then going, oh no, right? Like it's a lot of that, like, and again, I need to stress this. It is not the fact that you cannot do something during an eclipse cycle. But please, for the love of everything, make sure that your intention is behind what you're putting those activations upon, right? Because I'm telling you right now, if you're doing it from your feels, I'm just saying your perception right now of things without you recognizing it may be very distorted. And at the same time, like that desire to make something perfect, right? It can create those moments that, it's like that it can feel more reactive instead of expansive, right? So build into that context. Bottom of the deck on this reading, star energy. I told you, it's like the thing about this here is, I want to keep on hearing, like, and here's the thing about it. I keep on hearing, I hear it all over the place right now. And I took that personally, right? Like, here it is. Okay, there it is. And I took that personally, right? And I took that personally. And I took that. It's like, of course you took it personally. I know, of course you took it. Like, oh wait, you took it personally? You took it personally during a Venus in retrograde cycle? During a Virgo full moon? Right? I felt like I was being judged. I felt like they were doing, like, yes, it's the energy. Yes. Like the important thing is not whether you feel it, whether you're taking it personally. It's doing the work to recognize if it was given with that intention. Like, okay. So and listen, I'm not saying that there might not be some deep healing that's happening here in relationality to clearing the air, right? In the spaces of having someone say, and I took that personally, but also I need to point this out. There's a difference, right? I'll put it this way. There is a difference when we take something personally, right? I'll put it this way. When we take something personally, what should we do? We explain why it's personal to us, right? We build that connective tissue by saying, it's personal to me because it has meaning, right? And that ability of communicating when we feel that we've taken something personally, this is how we build bridges, right? We share our experiences. We tell another how something made us feel. But when we get in that space and we go, I know what I'll do, you know what I mean? Like, I'll show them, right? In a moment that, like, like, again, when we're in that space where we feel like that space of trying to prove something, now is not the time to be trying to prove anything in the midst of a Virgo. I'm going to keep on saying this. Okay, in this dramatic environment, because it's all drama, it's all Phantom of the Opera, it's all this like I will be the monster. Like, I told you that the Leo full moon was a dress rehearsal for this. In the midst of hearing the heavy chord of everything is ugly and everything must be perfect, and then feeling the weight of being judged in that and doing something energetically reactive, and then being like, oh no, what have I done? Okay. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a personal reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you so much to everyone who attended our recent class on the Wheel of Fortune card. Our next class is coming up next week. Have you signed up for Tarot Church yet? Our next class is next week, Wednesday, March 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Justice card. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head over and become a paid subscriber to my Substack. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket into our class next month and all the following months. You will also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church library. It's not necessary to catch up. I will be doing my best. Hold on a minute. I will be doing my best to give you an update on everything that we've studied thus far, but the material is there for you to receive when you're ready to receive it. You will also have access as a monthly subscriber to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library archive. You will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your impact going forward towards your personal tarot goals. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your robust experience or your lack of experience prevent you from joining our classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You'll also be notified as to giveaway information when we have giveaways. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual growth goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I also am very happy to now offer dream interpretation reading packages. Those can be purchased again at per dream or as a package. I simply ask if you purchase a package that you make sure that you start to keep a dream journal, as we will be utilizing the tarot to understand the key themes and messages that are coming through to you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.